Traffic Jam is on now.
Yo, what's up, world? This is your boy Marvin Phipps with Traffic Jam. We got a very, very special guest today. It's MC, right?
Yes, that's the easy version is MC.
So what is the name, if I can ask?
So my government, as they say,
Government. Okay.
is Mari Carmen, is how you would pronounce it.
Is that what is that, Spanish or?
So the origin of it, yes, is Spanish. I'm Cuban, but yes, the origin is Spanish. So it's all together one name. Typically that name is hyphenated. So you have like Maria Carmen, or you have Mari Carmen, or you have Maria del Carmen. So mine's all together.
If you wouldn't have told me you was Cuban, I would have thought you was just Black, African American. Crazy.
Well, I mean, I guess we're all from the same place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, that's what's up, man. I'm gonna jump right in this thing. Have you always been like an athlete? Was you an athlete in school?
I was always very athletic. My father was super athletic too. My brothers were obviously. So it was there. I feel like I could have been a better athlete when I was younger. I do envy young girls these days because they have like sports, like you have women's soccer, you have basketball, So before it's like you played those things, but no one ever took it seriously, right? Because there was nowhere else to go. So it was like, oh yeah, I play some things. But I want to say the year that I graduated high school was the year that the WNBA had announced that they were starting. I think they started the year after, which was 98. And so yeah, I would watch and I'd go to the games and I was always like, damn, it was my thing. But yeah, I played. I was always athletic.
So you played basketball? You played a little
I
ball?
played everything. So obviously being Hispanic, being Cuban, baseball's our thing, right? So I would play baseball with my father and my brothers. So that's why I wasn't very what's the word? I didn't really like softball. I just didn't understand why the ball had to be big and we had to be close. Like I was just like, we're girls, we're not stupid. It's not I just always felt like they played as like a bunch of, I was just kind of like, why is these things awkward? You had to pitch underhand. That was all very awkward to me because I would hang out with my dad and my brothers at the park on the weekends. And then I just learned how to play with them. And so that just didn't translate well. I played volleyball. Obviously, I'm not very tall. So, volleyball has like its thing if you're not very tall. So, but I played but basketball was more my thing. People think I ran track. I'm entirely too bottom heavy to run track. I hate running anywhere. I run a lot more now, and I've ran a couple 5Ks and was training for a half marathon. And I think it was just a lot hotter when we were in high school, in high school, middle school. I don't know, but I just felt like the track was just like ugh. And what else did I do? Yeah, and then obviously I dated a lot of male athletes, like boys in high school. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. I dated one for like ever. uh but he played football and that's what put me into weight training. So yeah, so always having that athleticism to me.
That's awesome. So you're a personal trainer now, right?
Correct. I'm a personal trainer. Yeah.
And how long you been doing that?
I think I'm going on 10 real years now. Yeah. Right. How old am I? Yeah, I'm going on about 10
years.
Yeah.
So how do someone become a personal trainer? Like, how do you say this is what I want to do? As far as, do you start training yourself and say I can do this for people, or what is it?
Well, I think so. I feel like anyone can be a personal trainer, right? But I think it's a certain passion that makes some people stand out more than others. I always knew that I was going to train or do some level of exercise, or like I say, teach people how to eat to live. But my life took a very different trajectory. I mean, I started off running nightclubs, working for Prince Marky D, being in the music business.
Wow.
And I did that for a lot of years. But it was very unhealthy, right? Like hanging out I used to manage DJs, I managed producers, I went on tour. So I've had 9 lives, I will say that. But even though I did those things, I was always very disciplined with getting up and going to the gym and still working out if we were on tour. I was 100% vegetarian. Now it's vegan, it's plant-based. It's got too many layers now these days between the Gen Zs and the millennials. Back then you were just a vegetarian and it was normal. But I had started that journey at a really young age. My parents were microbiotic vegetarians. So I was exposed to eating healthy food and health food at the age of 9. And for us to be Cuban, Hispanic, you know, my parents came over here during the revolution. That was a very big thing for them, or for people to even grasp and understand. So I was going on tour and then always just the one that was like, no, I don't eat that. No, I don't eat that. Not making a big deal about it like people do now when they go out and they, you know, are flabbergasted that a restaurant can't cater to their needs. But I always say I was a vegetarian when it was real, when you really had to cook your food and plan to eat for the day. So I always had in the back of my mind that I would, you know, hit my 40s and I would, you know, be living on a farm and you know, raising animals and being the medicine woman and teaching people how to eat, to live, and exercise. So that was pretty much how, you know, my journey or my life kind of started. But music, you know, once it took that turn where, you know, there just was no money, there's just really no money in it, right? And it just got oversaturated as it has. And it took its many turns. And I've sat through a lot of those turns, whether I was, you know, interning at Sony Latin here in Miami, or, you know, worked under some amazing CEOs. It kind of left me. And so then I had to reinvent myself, and being up at night and drinking, and I had actually acquired having a peptic ulcer. I wasn't at my healthiest at that time. I was like, well, I guess we need to find something to do. So I moved back from Atlanta at the age of 30. How old was I? Yeah, it's been about 10 years since I've been back from Atlanta. And then I needed to find a new career. And so I just immersed myself in this. One of my degrees is in biology. So the idea was I was going to become a doctor.
Okay.
I couldn't pass the MCAT, which is what led me to finish in business school, and then put me in a restaurant, that put me in a nightclubs, that put, you know. So, you know, like I said, I've had a lot of lives and I've had a lot of living, thank God, and I've been very blessed. But ultimately, being in health, understanding how the body works, was where I wanted to be.
How's it going? My name's Carlos Celebranaz. I play Prince Marky D in the Salt and Pepper biopic. Check me out on Traffic Jam podcast.
Now you mentioned Prince Marky D. Is that the guy from the Fat Boys?
It is the guy from the Fat Boys. Yes, may he rest in peace.
Did you contribute to, because he had like weight issues, did you help him out with some of his issues that he had back then, or what?
Oh man, I love Mark to death. And I think it's next week. It's the anniversary of his passing. So she'll be 3 years now.
Wow.
So when I met Mark, yes, even though at that time I wasn't necessarily doing health, but I was a vegetarian and I would get on him. So I remember him losing his first 100 pounds. When we started working together around 2005, 2004, 2005. But he was really hard-headed. Mark was Mark, you know, and so he would do just enough. And then I know that he got down low enough, but yeah, he was cognizant about it, but he definitely wasn't like going the extra mile.
Now, for me, how do one start? Because I'm in the nightlife too. I'm an entertainer. I'm a comedian. I'm out late. And I do want to become a vegetarian. I know that's what the world is shifting to.
Right.
I do not want to eat meat no longer.
Okay.
I want to be more healthy. How can someone like me start? What can I start doing?
So I like to tell people you can't do everything at one time, right? And that's the problem with a lot of people that end up abandoning it, or you have a lot of people that are really unhealthy vegetarians, because ultimately, you know, now I'm not 100% vegetarian. I still don't eat a lot of meat per se, and I have more of a conscious eating, and I blend a lot of different things together. But you have to definitely read and do your research and understand. Okay. And then leave one thing and another thing and one thing and another thing. Because typically, if you don't really like to eat a lot of vegetables, then you'll tend to do what a lot of people do, which actually ends up getting people become diabetic from, is you'll end up eating a lot of carbohydrates, right? So you'll end up eating a lot of pasta, a lot of cauliflower pizza with cheese on it, or French fries, right? Because you're chasing that idealism. Now, you know, all these new plant-based burgers out there that when you read them, they're so processed that I'm like, I would never touch any of it. Like I still don't touch any of that stuff, right? So it's important to read and understand the nutrition and how to get your nutrition, and then what do you like, right? Because this is a complete lifestyle change. If you've been eating steak and pork and collard greens and macaroni and cheese and, you know, chicken parm and all the good stuff, now you're going to feel like you're missing something, right? And then you're only going to be happy but for so long, and then you're like, bump this, I'm back to square one, right? So the thing is to win at it. So there's no amount of time. The thing is just that you do something, right? So even if you do something every 3 months or you do something every 3 weeks, the idea is that you at least work towards a goal to get you somewhere, right? So if you're like, hey, I eat red meat 5 times a week, I need to vary that, then perhaps cut it down to 1 day a week. Then maybe then you add in, like, you know, fish and chicken and seafood in there, and then you just slowly go dwindling it down. And then where at night, instead of having heavy carbohydrates, so you're adding in, say, you know, heavy potatoes or heavy rice, or because you're out at a show, you're eating the nachos or the fried food at the place, you cut back on fried food. Because the thing is that you have to get your palate adjusted. And then in the morning, just start going, okay, well, I need to start eating fruits, right? Fruits are so important and they're so integral for your diet. I mean, especially when it comes to fiber. So you don't like a lot of fruit. Well, now you got to get adjusted to the kind of fruit you like. So it's a complete lifestyle change. So you got to figure out what you like first, and then you can plug things in. But when people want to just turn around one day and be like, I don't eat meat anymore. And it's like, but then what do you eat? Because you still have to eat to live, right? The human body needs a certain amount of calories each day to be able to sustain your life. And it's not just about the exterior as far as weight. You're also looking about the interior and the minerals and the vitamins that it is that we need, because you have a lot of vitamin deficient, especially vitamin D3 deficient people when it comes to nutrition right now.
And I think that's more of what my issue is, not knowing what to eat. So it'll get to the point where I used to fast a lot. I would do juice fast or vegetable fast, and then it'll get late and then I'm hungry, then I just grab something terrible. And that's the mistake that I would make very often. So it's tough, but I've been learning, just trying to stick with it and learn the things. So it's, you know, there's definitely a wrong way to do it. I won't say that there's a right and a wrong way to do it. There's definitely a wrong way to do it, but you know, right now, like the fasting is, and the juice fasting, the juice cleansing, and the detox teas is just such a thing. And it's like, you know, if you treat your digestive system the way that it should, and you're intaking those fibers in, you should be going to the bathroom regularly, right? It doesn't matter what you eat. As soon as you put it in, you know, just like babies or just like animals that they eat, and you know, like in 2 hours they're gonna go. The human system should be the same. What happens a lot of times, especially with us adults, is we have a lot of stress and things like that, and we don't even realize that we're like clenching our system, so we're not in the essence of releasing. So then we're keeping all that inside, and we're keeping in the toxins, right? And so the idea is, sure, you can do a vegetable juice, because say, for instance, you might not necessarily like kale, or you might not necessarily, you know, like, you know, radishes or whatever, right? Cauliflower, you know, but you can juice it and you can drink it real fast. And that's the thing for me. So, I don't like eating vegetables, but I can drink them, and that works for me. That's crazy. Yeah, and you need like 8 servings. You know, the Surgeon General says you need at least 8 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. So even when it comes to, say, for instance, fruit, right? Sometimes I can't get all my fruit in the day, and I try to be very cognizant of going, okay, I'm going to make sure I eat my cup of berries, and I make sure I do this and do that. But sometimes it's just either a lot of food and I'm just not in that mental state to eat it. So yeah, sticking it in a blender, you know, and adding some water and being able to drink it on the go is going to be a lot easier for me. And at least I'm going to get it in there. So the main thing is that you get it in. But
but the fasting also has become very popular.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan of fasting. I will be honest with you.
Okay.
Especially that whole idealism that your system needs a break from chewing. Your system is created to digest, right? And that's what the digestive system is for. And the only way that it cleanses itself out is if it digests and it eliminates. But yes, the thing is, what are we digesting? What needs to go down so that it does clean things out? And that's the problem that we have, especially right now in the society, what's happening within our food. Because again, you have to think about the nutrients that you're not eating, because especially when you're at a certain weight, if you're overweight, if you already lack water within your body, and the water is needed so that biological processes happen inside of the body. So that now you're not even intaking food so that those processes happen. God knows what you're doing, right? Like I had a client that was doing that, and he wasn't intaking enough water, and he was about 350 pounds, I think he had gotten up to. And he lost about a good 120 pounds with me. And the main thing, I was like, well, you need to drink your water. Like, you need to drink more. No, I can't get it. I'm only drinking, to have like a 12-ounce bottle a day. And I said, you're going to get, your kidneys. It's going to affect your kidneys. This is why your blood pressure is up. He wouldn't listen to me. 3 days into us working out, or, starting our diet plan together, I was right. He ended up in the hospital, was about to go into kidney failure. And after that, he was just like, okay, I realized that I need to drink water, So, so the thing is that you have to do things you have to figure out a reason why you do things, right? And then do them in a healthful manner. So the fasting might not be terrible for you to do. But the thing is, if you're not intaking good food, or once you break your fast, you're not eating well, then you're right back where you start.
You're watching The Traffic Jam.
All right, so your next exercise is going to be a deadlift. So today we're going to use the dumbbells. This is going to be your dumbbell deadlift tutorial. So really simply, always remember, you want to keep those knees nice and soft. So if this is locked out, we're just going to unhinge them right there. You want to make sure that your core is in tight and that you rotate your hips forward, okay? So, and anything that we have on the floor, especially when it comes to weights, we want to make sure that we bend at the knees. All right, so you're going to go ahead and pick up those dumbbells, roll those shoulders back, make sure these feet are shoulder width apart. All right, core in tight, knees slightly bent. We're going to come all the way down, flat back, exhale, squeeze, come right back up. Again, down, flat back, exhale, squeeze, right back up. Last one, down, and exhale, squeeze. All right, make sure we put them down the same way we picked them up, and that will be your deadlift.
So from a trainer standpoint, who is more easier to train, men or women?
For me, men.
Why is that?
Men, and I think this just speaks to men in general. I'll give you all your flowers right now.
About time somebody's giving us flowers.
Wait. It's going to be real small flowers.
One flower.
I think when it comes to men, I think it's just that intrinsic idea that, like, when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do something, and that's how you own up to your word as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so when men say, I'm done being fat, I'm going to start on Monday, y'all go full throttle and you guys will complete it. Now, you might not keep up with it, but if you say, I'm going to do this for 60 days, you guys are the most focused individual for 60 days that I've ever seen. When it comes to women, it's not like that. We also have a lot more responsibilities, especially if women have children. We have hormones. Obviously, we have our cycle 5 days a week, or 5 days out of a month. I mean, so it's like, I don't know, when it comes to women getting that commitment in there, women do it for different reasons as well, right? It might just be for an outfit, or it might be for a moment. But yeah, it's always been very easier for me. And I've been more successful. I've had more 100-pound transformations with men than I've had with women.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a flip question, how do you feel about trans women competing in women's sports?
Oh man, we're just gonna get right to it, huh?
Yeah. But that's a thing too now.
Leah Thomas will capture the win in the 200-yard freestyle with a time of 1:43.12 seconds.
This morning, controversy along with victory, as transgender athlete Leah Thomas shatters women's college swimming records in the 200 and 500-yard freestyle on Friday in the Ivy League Women's Championships.
3.78. So Leah Thomas, a new pool record, a new meet record.
Thomas, who was assigned male at birth, competed on Penn's men's team for 3 seasons before undergoing more than 2 years of hormone therapy.
I don't think it's fair. I'm gonna be blatantly honest. It's almost like, so I'm a fitness competitor as well.
Okay.
And that's another big thing that's been hitting the stage now. And when it comes from a physique standpoint, a lot of girls definitely in this industry do use steroids, right? To be able to come in leaner. You know, steroids, obviously, we know helps cut fat, helps us gain more muscle, helps us look leaner, helps us retain less water, helps muscle growth a lot faster, blah, blah, blah. But technically for a woman, and these women that are taking these steroids to be able to get on stage, it's a mini sex change, however we want to call it. So for us, it's already a lot more difficult. And I'm an all-natural athlete, so I've never used steroids, and I won't. But when it comes to getting on the stage, and because of our estrogen and progesterone, we're naturally softer, right? And so we try to achieve a more striated and a more muscular look, especially in a more natural context. Well, that's going to be a lot easier for a man to get to, right? Like, I've trained a man and a woman couple before, and the man will drop weight just like this because of testosterone. That's why when guys are heavy set, I'm like, I can totally help you gain or lose weight in like this, because it's so much easier for you guys.
Wow.
For us women, there's a lot more hurdles that we have to jump over. So I don't feel like it's fair, because the testosterone value's in there, right? Even when you see these Olympians that are taking testosterone to be faster, right? They're taking it for that reason. So obviously there is an advantage with the testosterone. And so I don't think that it's fair at all. I don't care if you want to be a trans woman and compete in a male sport, but I think you need to compete, you know, with what gender you were born with.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, that's cheating, man. You can't freaking run.
I think so.
Yeah. that's crazy.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of flack for that. But I've been able to experience it as a woman, as a fitness competitor, not anything else. Obviously, I'm not a professional athlete at this age, but yeah, I mean, I can see the difference, and you can see the difference, and you can see the advantages when you have that advantage of testosterone, right, to estrogen ratio.
So if someone wanted to work with you, how would they go about hiring you to become their personal trainer?
So I'm very selective in doing online training. I know a lot of people say online, you know, like they really like online training. The platform hasn't been the most successful for me. And I think you have to be a certain type of person to be able to online train and to stick with it, because if I'm not there with you, even though I send you everything and we have check-ins, but if you don't show up on Zoom at our allotted time, or, you know, you do things because I'm not around, it's really hard to keep people on track. So I'm very selective on who I use online. Now, when it comes to nutrition and teaching people how to diet, that's a lot easier. But again, it's on you, right? You're not there. We have our check-ins during the week. So yeah, so I have a website, chocolategirlfitness.com. You can find me on social media, which is at MC143. No, I lie. At that girl MC. Can't even remember my own IG. I am slowly transitioning into apparel. So chocolategirlfitness.shop will be up soon. The first couple of things I'm going to be launching is water bottle, towel, gloves, all of kind of fitness essentials. So today I was, you know, doing all of that branding and marketing. So it'll be my first time venturing into selling things, if you will, and kind of transitioning just out of training and into more of apparel. And how else can you find me? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I answer everything. So or you can email me, chocolate girl fitness LLC at Gmail. And if you Google me, a lot of things pop up. I've had a lot of articles. I've had a lot of podcasts. So I'm definitely findable.
Oh, man, we want to thank you for taking your time out to answer these questions. Thank you so much. I'm going to look you up.
Yes, for sure. I would love to work with you. You know, maybe you can be my next,
I
we
need,
can work it out and see how you can be my next success story.
okay, I'm going to definitely hit you on IG. Thank you. This has been Traffic Jam with MC. Thank you so much. You look like Aaliyah. Have anybody ever told you that?
Jesus Christ. This has been a week. So no, I've never gotten Aaliyah, so that's huge. I get Lynn Whitfield, Gabrielle Union, which is funny because I have worked for Gabby before. And I just forgot her name. She just won an Emmy the other night. Oh my God, I can't believe I just forgot her name. Lynn Whitfield, and then there's the other one, not Viola Davis, the other Black actress whose name's just in my mind. Anyways, I get her.
Kerry Washington? Huh?
No, I've never gotten Kerry Washington. I get the other day I got Robin Givens. I was like, geez, y'all just threw it way back with that one.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It has as well. Have a good night.
The Traffic Jam is on now.